Morning. Welcome to the Sunday morning rant. It is now mid-January 2018, so Happy New Year to everybody. And an apology to anybody who's missed my videos, to all those of you who have. There have been some really good reasons why I haven't been posting on here for a bit. The most important one, which actually really stopped me from doing any videos, was the fact that my Mac that I am actually talking to you on now decided to completely pack up just before Christmas, or in the run-up to Christmas, should I say. It had been giving me some hints that it was not a happy bunny for a couple of months prior to Christmas, but to be honest, in December it really just gave up the ghost and went poof. Now, credit to Apple. Apple have pretty much replaced the entire machine. I've had a new motherboard, I've had a new SSD, I've had a new RAM, I've had a new screen put on the machine, and they did it all under the service contract. So, yay, Apple. The other thing that was going on is I actually had a really horrendous cold, where I sounded a bit like this, and I had a nose that looked like I could have led the and I had a nose that sounded like I could have been at the front of the column of reindeer for Santa Claus. So I didn't really feel like doing anything then. And the third reason is that I've actually had a bit of a health scare. So I'm in my 40s. I'll admit to that. I went for a checkup, and that checkup was really just to sort of give me the once over. And when they did the checkup, they found out I actually have an irregular heartbeat. I've probably had it for most of my life, but it scared them enough to end up sending me to hospital to have lots of checks run on me. So I didn't really feel like doing videos at that point in time. Now, there is nothing wrong with me, okay? I've been given the all clear. However, it was a bit of a scare, and I have also been told by the doctor that I need to lose a bit of this. Like probably most people of my age need to lose a bit of this. So, following that, I decided I needed a bit of a break. So I'm here. Good, isn't it? So, I'm going to start this week by talking about Sonar. And Sonar, for those who don't know, is a software company that has been making a DAW. Now, actually, Sonar as a company, if I'm honest, used to be called Cakewalk. And I used to use Cakewalk software about 20 years ago, probably slightly more than that. I started off with something called Cakewalk Express, and I moved on to Cakewalk. I believe it was Cakewalk Pro at the time. And I used to use that for MIDI sequencing. I think I then progressed on to Cubase after that, but I used to use Cakewalk, so it's a sort of sad thing to see that that company has gone after so many years in the industry. Now, back in the day when I used to use it, it was pretty much just a MIDI sequencer. There was no of the catches of a DAW of nowadays. So, you know, wave processing, effects processing, VST plugins, that all didn't exist back then. It really was about playing your instrument into the sequencer and making the sequencer play it back, which is how I used to use it. But it is sad to see it go. Now, I didn't realise that Cakewalk was bought by Gibson in 2013. Now, going back through sort of the interweb and looking at things, it turns out that it was all part of a strategic Gibson online foray to publish music software. I think Gibson realised that they wanted to get into that market, and everybody else was already there. So if you haven't started your development process, the easiest way to get into it is acquisition. So they acquired Sonar. Unfortunately, on the 17th of November last year, Sonar ceased trade as Sonar, and ceased development on all software products. This is a bit of a shame. But what it brings me on to is the whole sort of cloud scenarios. Now, if you're a musician and play keyboards, you are probably well aware of Roland's latest push, which is the Roland Cloud, or the Roland Sound Cloud, I think is the official title for it. And what they're starting to do with there is push out legacy plugins, or plugins for legacy instruments, should I say, be more precise, through the cloud, and you pay a monthly fee and you can rent the use of those plugins. If you don't pay the fee, you can't use the plugin. It's as simple as that. So you install a piece of software that is effectively like a license manager, I suppose. I haven't done it, so I don't know the mechanics of it, but I work in the IT industry, and this sort of model is becoming more and more common, shall we say, that you install some sort of license manager, and every month it gets updated with a key from a secure server, and it allows you to continue to use the product. Now, what's really interesting about this is what Sonar have said on their website is they are going to unlock all of the copies of Sonar that are in existence that are on this monthly rental basis, if you like. Which is all well and good for those of you who are using Sonar. But the problem you're going to face is at some point they are going to, or Microsoft and Apple probably, are going to push out an update that is going to royally send you up the creek without a paddle, because you won't be able to use the software anymore. So what does that say to me? It says if you're a Sonar user, probably you've got a year, 18 months, and then after that you're probably going to have problems with the software because of updates that are going to be pushed out. Now, we need to be really careful about this sort of stuff, because I mean, in the news just after Christmas there was all this news about the chips that computers and iPads etc. run on being open to abuse because of some backdoor. So the manufacturers are going to probably start spewing out security patches to try and limit the access of foreign parties to exploit those issues. So those of you using Sonar might not have that much time to go. But then it brings me further on to the whole concept, really, of the cloud for music storage. I do not store any of my music, anything I do, in the cloud. I made a conscious decision about that a few years back, that I would not store stuff in the cloud. I temporarily use the cloud for moving music or music files between devices because it's fairly simple, but long-term storage of those things doesn't go into the cloud. And the reason for that is when you give something over to a cloud provider to store, you're effectively saying, go away and store it for me. You're relying on them having procedures in place that says if the data center gets blown up, they can recover your files. Now, you know, if you're a music studio, you'll probably sign up to a long-term contract that will allow you to do such thing, and will give you some sort of what's the word I'm looking for? A way of getting something back if such an event happened. But if you're just an independent songwriter, producer, the likelihood of you having that sort of contract in place is probably going to be pretty minimal. If your cloud provider goes bang, your music's gone. It's as simple as that, which is one of the reasons why I chose not to do that for long-term storage. My long-term storage is hard drives, and I have a hard drive array. So I'm not going to go into what that means at the moment, but it's effectively a redundant set of disks. And those hard drives effectively get replaced every 2 to 3 years. And expanded pretty much every 2 to 3 years, because obviously the level of the amount of stuff I'm keeping gets more. That's my music solution. If you're using the cloud as your music solution, I think you want to go back and have a look at what are your terms of contract with your cloud supplier, and what happens if their cloud platform goes bang. And I don't mean it goes bang from the point of view of there is a issue with the platform itself, i.e. the software issue, hardware issue. I mean, what happens if the company goes insolvent? And I've seen a couple of players in the IT space, not necessarily cloud, where that's gone. That's actually happened. They have gone insolvent and the platform is gone. And if you subscribe to that platform, guess what? You ain't got any recourse. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that. The next one of these I'm going to do, I'll be in Switzerland again, so I'm still going to be here. I probably will choose a slightly warmer location to record this, because as you can see, it's a bit cold out here. In fact, actually, it's probably about -2. But I thought it was a nicer place to do this first video. I do promise that I will start recording videos again. I have a whole heap of stuff I want to put down onto video about things I found out in the last few months, and also now the studio's back up and running, it's all been repatched. More work on those keyboards that are in there. Anyway, for now, thank you for listening. Thank you for bearing with me, if you're still here, of course. And I shall catch you next time. Bye-bye.
If you like the contents of this video, please give it a thumbs up. Apparently, it helps the channel and allows other people to find this video a lot quicker. I'm sure by now, if you didn't like the contents of this video, you've already given me a thumbs down. If you want to be notified about future videos that are added to the channel, hit the subscribe button that should be appearing about here.